What we call white in the West and worldwide is a mental disorder because it's solely based on a juxtaposition to black. And it is that same disorder that said that black people who wished to escape slavery had a mental disorder called drapetomania, a word that had no etymology. These same sick people have projected their illness onto what they define as black. I say, don't wear that hat. Be better than black. Secret Pimp Notes audiobook link in the comment section.
Have a man who everybody hates. We hate him, his mama hate him, his family hate him, the white police hate him, the regular white men and white women hate him. This is a man who is hated by everyone. The only solace that God made for him was us. And when he comes to us and can't get any sanctuary at all, then he don't have no life. And then they win, because what they want to do is to destroy him and make us think that we are better than him, so that we will help the enemy destroy our own man that God gave to us. We have the best man on earth. Everybody want him. He looks better than everybody. He's stronger than everybody. He is the best, the wisest, and the most beautiful. Now, of course, many of our men have been tricked by the enemy too. But since we are the mothers, we are the first face they see. We are the first person they talk to. We the first person to feed them. We do all of that and raise them up. And so if there's a silly man out here, he didn't grow up and be silly. He was silly as a little boy because his mother mismanaged him and didn't reparent him using the truth.
It's your boy wanna be out there, Pimp Guy, what your mama should have told you. And this is for the Secret Pimp Notes audiobook for the gist. This is entitled Be Better Than Black. Be better than black. In the 70s, there was a pimp named Silky. And Silky was interviewed by a white man. Silky was one of the pimps and his hoes that was featured in the book Black Players that came out. And he was being interviewed, and the white man who is playing chess in society, meaning in the game of chess, white gets to go first. So white is automatically playing offense, defense. And the black pieces get to go second. So the black pieces are automatically playing defense, offense. And within American society, the black man has to play defense, offense, without appearing defensive. Angry and too aggressive at the same damn time. And so the white man asked Silky how he felt about the word pimp, that it has a pejorative sound, a nasty connotation connected to it, disgusting. And so Silky said, well, to whom? And he said, to myself. And naturally, right? And so Silky just said, Well, not to someone who has dedicated their lives to it. And then the white man said, well, you make it sound like it's almost like a special coin. And then Silky said, that's what I feel, that it is a special coin. The defense dynamic in this interview was clearly shown in that pimp is not something that men who were procurers of the skin game called themselves. This was a name given to them by the white man. They accepted it, right? And they adopted it. But the word in and of itself, in the way that it's used, doesn't have an origin. There was a so-called white psychologist, offense defense, who during the time of slavery came up with a word that also had no etymology. It was called drapetomania. And drapetomania was what this white paleface said. Black people who wanted to escape slavery. Like a Harriet Tubman or anybody else that got the fuck up off that motherfucker. Nat Turner, you know what I'm saying? Who he must have had an acute case of drapetomania, because he killed all of them motherfuckers in his master's house. And then they went from plantation to plantation as people gathered, with him. And by the time the sun rose, 57 paleface motherfuckers was dead. Nat was in hiding, and white people was hiding in the woods. They was too afraid to stay in their home. They was hiding in the woods for fear of, this rebellion. So drapetomania, this psychologist said, is what Negroes suffer, Negro slaves, when they want to escape bondage. They have a case of drapetomania. It had no origin, no etymology. That's offense defense, when you get to define words and then attach them to motherfuckers and teach everybody within your upside down, inside out, and backwards society what these words mean. The connotations, even though they don't even mean anything historically. And pimp, in and of itself, the way that it was used, it didn't have an origin. It was a nasty word, disgusting, vile, seething, with eerie elements of wicked sliminess. And they put that onto those men that we now call pimps. But the closest word to pimp was pimper, Pimper, which did have an origin and a definition. Pimper, which had nothing to do with pimping, was just a dapper dandy type motherfucker. A dandy was a dude that had a coquettish style, right? With elements of feminine expression that became trendy because they just wasn't afraid to express certain things. But still 1014% masculine. You know, Robert Greene talked about the dandy, you know, in, I think, The Art of Seduction. And that's what pimps were. They were dandies. Well, pimper actually, by definition, was a dandy in so many words. A dandy, the pimper was just a charismatic dude with a coquettish style who was just fly, and by modern words, and confident enough to express himself in that way. They say that before he was Ralph Lauren, he was Ralph Lifshitz. And he used to dress, you know, according to people who saw him, you know, like Calvin Klein, who was honest and said, yeah, he said, he had an interesting style about him. And he said, and I thought that Calvin Klein said, I thought it was interesting that someone was confident enough as a male to express himself like that's like a dandyism. It's a pimper style. That's all pimper meant. And then the word got shortened to pimp, which pimps had a pimper component to them. A pimp will show Gucci how to Gucci. That's why I like Dapper Dan. You see, Dapper Dan showed Gucci how to Gucci. And he used to get in trouble a lot with Gucci and different, you know, because they would raid him and da-da-da-da-da, and, you know, he'd had these issues. And then eventually they was like if I had an opportunity to work for the house of Gucci, right? We would stop all of this weird shit that Gucci is doing. Even their ads. Dr. Scott and I, we'd be walking through the mall and we'd be seeing their promotions and, you know, displays. And it's like, y'all whack. Gucci is whack. And that's one of the flyest brands in the world. To me, still, Pimp God was influenced by the GG, the PG. Facing each other, pushed together, overlapping, just like the Gucci symbol. Gucci, the two G's. It was inspired by Gucci. Right? But I would, if I was hired to be in the house, I would say it would be a full stop. And I would say, okay, what y'all paying me, you're going to need to add another At least half of that. Because I'm bringing in Dapper Dan. I'm bringing Dapper Dan in. Because he knows how to Gucci. And between Dapper Dan and I, we'll come up with the seasonal styles and things that we agree. We got to agree on it. But between the two of us, we'll show you what Gucci is. Because Gucci don't even know what the fuck Gucci is. It's retarded. But when white people get to define things first and then question you on them after the fact, when shit didn't even have no fucking origin, but this is their way of yet again projecting their fears onto you, right? Manipulating others to see you as a black man in the way that they do. And call you crazy when really they're the ones suffering from acute craziness, because it is a mental disorder when one's identity is based upon a juxtaposition to someone else, all based upon fear and insecurity. White is a juxtaposition to black. And because someone is not the least melanated, weakest genetic motherfucker on the earth, he is in fact weaker and evil. And do you see the drapetomania in this shit? It's cray-cray. A crazy psychologist said that black people were crazy for seeking their freedom from bondage. That's projection like a motherfucker. And so this is the world that we are growing up in which the word pimp, in which words like black, like they showed in Malcolm X, where they took an old school dictionary and all of the words associated with the synonyms, associated with black, has something to do with bad or death or evil doing, and all the words associated with white, right? OMG, has something to do with purity and greatness and angelicness, forthcoming, honest, pure, etc., etc. Okay, so and there you have it. And now you got to navigate a world that's governed by an insecure, fear, genetically inferior motherfucker. That part. What we call white in the West and worldwide is a mental disorder, because it's solely based on a juxtaposition to black. And it is that same disorder that said that black people who wished to escape slavery had a mental disorder called drapetomania, a word that had no etymology These same sick people have projected their illness onto what they define as black. I say, don't wear that hat. Be better than black. Secret Pimp Notes audiobook link in the comment section.